West Tigers fans, how the heck are we doing? I am so pumped you were here. Welcome back to another episode. This one is very special to me because it's from one of you guys. It's Fan Friday, our second episode of Fan Friday. We have Gus, one of the almighty West Tigers fans, jumping on the potty today, so I'm super excited to chat to him. Plus, it's game day, Tigers fans. Are you as excited as I am to take on the Manly Sea Eagles? I will be live streaming the whole game, play-by-play reaction with you guys tonight for kickoff. So make sure you join that. I believe we'll be going live 5 minutes before for all of us to get together. Make sure we all get in the chat, say g'day, all the things, and then we will experience the highs and the lows of this game together. Hoping that we have more highs than lows, but we never know what's going to happen with the West Tigers. But that's why I love this team. So sit back, relax. If you're new here, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a review, no matter where you're listening or watching from. It means the world to me and this community. So let's get into it without further ado. Hey, what's going on, mate?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good. You hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Beautiful.
Got my audio?
Yep, got you as well. Hey, nice car in
Yeah.
the back. You been doing that up?
It's my mate's, actually. It's Kingswood. It's all schmick and ready to go.
Dude, that thing's beautiful. Sweet.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
yeah, you're saying.
there's a replica one too, a station wagon, exactly the same. It's
That's
cool.
sick. I love that, bro. I love that. Sweet. Well, thanks for jumping on, mate. I've been eager to chat to you. You've been one of the loyal ones since day dot. You've been one of my first subscribers. You've always supported me in this channel, but more importantly, you've always supported the West Tigers as long as I've known you virtually. So if you want to introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, if you want, kind of where you're located in Australia, what you love to do in your free time, and when you started supporting the West Tigers.
Okey-dokey. My name's Gus Harris. I've been a Tigers supporter. I was a Balmain supporter way back when, but I was a member for the 2000 year. I'm from Southern Highlands, so down near Campbelltown kind of way. In my spare time, I play music. I record music, try to figure out some AI and muck around with those videos.
That's awesome, mate. Yeah, dude, AI has kind of taken over everything. Hey, it's wild, just the power that it has. And I've been trying to dive into AI a lot too. And the dashboard I've been building has kind of been AI driven, which has been super helpful. And yeah, it's been epic. So, Fan Fridays is all about chatting West Tigers and just lifting our boys up. I would love to know how you're feeling as a Tigers fan thus far in this season. We kind of started off on a major high. We had the crazy Galvin saga. Things kind of threw us for a loop. We're going on a 4-loss streak now, but things are looking up with recent signings for Kai Pearce-Paul as of next year. But more immediately is Talon May in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Fonua Pole's back. Just so many great things to be proud about for our boys. And we're going up against the Canberra Raiders tonight. And I genuinely believe we can take them on and come away with a win. So I would love to know your thoughts. How are you feeling up to this moment? How has this season been for you?
Well, it's a cracking start. Definitely something to give a bit of inspiration in the beginning, albeit a little bit clunky, I suppose. Those 2 losses that we got in the first, we were 2 from 2, and we lost by 2 points for both games. I think there's 4 games we've lost by 4 points or less. There have been a couple of dubious calls, but we won't go into the referee or anything like that. Unlucky with injuries for a little while there too. I think missing out on Joel Skelton there for a little while hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
A few sin bins in some games weren't exactly opportune. But then there was obviously the disruption with Lockie. That seemed to burn everyone's energy. And that loss to Parramatta, that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that we're finding our cohesion again now and finally getting our squad that we're going to stay with for, moving forward. And then we got those additions that you're saying coming in. I think there's still one roster spot to fill by June 30 because we just upgraded Heath Mason. So that should be something to look forward to. I assume we're probably going to upgrade another player as opposed to bring someone in. But I did hear whispers that, it's floating around on the Twitter sphere that Benji's been talking to Joey Manu. So let's hope that works out. But
Joey Manu, yeah, right. That would be a huge advantage for us, hey. And I've been a huge supporter of Heath Mason for a very long time, and I always knew that this kid had something special about him. And when Galvin went out and did his thing, and Latufaianu was unfortunately out due to injury, I knew that Heath Mason. I'm pretty sure you commented on one of the videos, is like, give Mason a shot. Like I wasn't just the only one, and we knew that he was the guy for the job, and he has definitely earned that spot and earned that extension with us. So I'm super, super pumped to see his future, but also, like you said, that last spot that we could definitely extend or fill or something like that. It's going to be a huge play for us if we do it right. Who's your favorite player in this squad thus far this season?
Oof, that's tough. This is one of those years where everyone's on fire. I was very psyched to see Heath Mason get in there, and he's doing very well. But it's hard to pick one player over the others. I mean, you'd have to go with perhaps Appy, because the last few years he's been our rock. I love Adam Dewey, which surprisingly I probably wouldn't have him in my first 17, but I love his passion and loyalty. And it seems a lot of the players are playing for the club now and for Benji, so I really can't pick one over another.
Exactly. That's all right, man. And that's honestly a really good problem to have, in my opinion. And the reason why is like we've got the Fayanu brothers all together. We have 2 out of 3 May brothers together. Like things are starting to come together. This is a club that, is actually building more of a culture rather than an NRL franchise, in my opinion. And that's, I think, why I've stuck with the Tigers for such a long time. I was born a Tigers fan. My dad was a fan. My pop was a fan. It's just in our blood. And so that makes me super excited. You mentioned Appy, and now there's a lot of rumor going around about him possibly leaving to go to the Bears after his little interview he had on the news. And Benji hinted at like, hey, he's not going anywhere. But Talon De Silva got dropped to reserve for a few weeks for what they say for fitness, for more minutes, things like that. And now he's back on the roster this week, which is amazing. But to me, like if I'm being completely upfront and honest, it does raise a concern or question like, is Appy going somewhere and are we finally giving Talon the minute he's deserving because we know something is coming? Does Benji know something's coming? Or is Benji really saying that with some intent? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think we keep Appy around for another year or two? Or do you think we start investing in someone like De Silva?
I think it's a tricky situation for Talon because I don't know any Tiger supporters that wouldn't want to keep Appy around, given what he's done for us. There is another young fellow, young hooker, 18-year-old called Jared Haywood, that has huge raps on him. And so it is a matter of, do you just go straight away with the 2 young guns, or do you stick with the experienced Appy and see one of them through? I could understand Talon. I know he loves the club. Well, I don't know, but I've heard through the grapevine that he loves the club and he doesn't want to go anywhere. But it's the kid's career and it's his life. So if he can play first grade somewhere next year or the year after, then he has to look for that opportunity. But having said that, if Appy gets offered 1.1 million to play for the Bears, you can hardly hold that against him either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that you brought up Jared Haywood. So we've talked really briefly about Haywood on this channel, and this was like probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he was someone that stuck out to me as I was watching some, match replays of New South Wales Cup and things like that. And he's one of those kids that's, coming up through the ranks pretty quick and really is kind of like earn his spot, I think, on a starting team here in the next couple years. So I'm really, really pumped about him. And I think we really have a lot to be happy about. And like I say on the channel, dream big about when it comes to our young guns. So with that, if you were Benji Marshall, would you be looking to sign anyone else outside of the club at this current time, or would you look to extend or sign or put someone in the top 30 that is, a young gun that is showing up week after week?
There are a few. There's one guy in particular, though he's not such a young gun, is Isaac Tutupo, formerly known as Isaac Thompson. He played a few games for the Bunnies a couple of years ago. I'm not sure what happened there, whether he had injury or just wasn't able to make the main team. But I think he scored something like 46 tries from 48 games. And he's just carving up in New South Wales Cup at the moment. So I'd love to see what the potential he has before upgrading him. But I think he's already available at some point this year anyway as a trainer trialist. So.
Yeah.
Outside of the club, maybe Katoni Staggs, but that's a long shot. I don't think he's signed yet, but if you can get this, Yeah, maybe just a massive front rower.
Mhm.
Daniel Saluka for feeder would be a good
Yeah.
option. Yeah, I think we're pretty strong, and our juniors coming through. I think we just keep upgrading, and with Kai Pearce-Paul coming next year, that's going to be a huge addition for the right edge. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we've known this as Tigers fans this season specifically is like our depth in our forward pack is definitely it wasn't there, right? We had Terrell May, we had pretty much Terrell May and Royce Hunt doing a lot of the hard yards, but really it was Terrell May. And like I love the energy they would bring, and the effort, but on a week to week basis, they can't be putting that up and not expect injury, burnout, things like that. And so, we have Sayanu Fanu in and then Samuel Afanu. Those two are huge like additions. And then, yeah, they have Kai Pearce-Paul next year. I think if we can secure another really decent forward, that would be a huge addition. And we've extended Tony Suka. But it does raise
yeah,
a question. What about Seyfarth? Is he kind of naturally going to be pushed out of the pack? I mean, I love the bloke. I love his energy, especially like a season or two ago. The way he would run with that ball, the way that he would play with such intent and like intensity, I just don't see that this season. And I don't. Are you with me on that? And if so, where do you see Seyfarth moving in the next couple weeks in terms of like new like Talon May coming through and Latu Fainu? There's talk of him possibly playing a ball playing lock. That would be sweet. What are your thoughts around Seyfarth?
I love Red. He's been a loyal cat too. So I think a couple of years ago, New Zealand tried to pry him away,
Yeah.
but he wanted to stay with us, and he didn't even have a contract at that time. So I'd run him off the bench. Honestly, I think he'd be a very good impact, perhaps lock or back rower, and he can play in the middle too. Can play front. So
For sure.
yeah, I
Yeah, no,
definitely have him in my 18 for sure.
definitely. That's sweet. And then, another guy that has that, dedication, that commitment to the team, that's Adam Dewey. From what I understand, he's up for, contract offers and stuff, I think end of this season. Do we re-sign him? Do we let other teams see what they want to offer him? We definitely have been lacking in our kicking game the last few games for sure. They've been tough kicks, so do we just re-sign him and have people coach him on that? But also with Talon May coming through, and that could definitely take AD's spot on that center. There's talk that Talon could move to a wing or to staff a Toa center because Toa might be leaving. There's just so much rumor. What would you do if you were Benji right now and you had to decide like where Talon's going and what Adam Dewey's going to do?
Well, I think it didn't hurt his cause to be brought into the blue squad, the opposing session squad. Uh, I don't really see a place for him. And I think for his own benefit, a lot of clubs will look at him. And it's no secret that he wants to play 5'8". So I would love to keep him at the club. I don't see him wanting to be a depth player. And I think clubs will pursue him well enough. And unfortunately, we may lose him.
Yeah, I'm kind of picking up the same sort of vibes, especially as we see just the development of our juniors, but also just our new signings that we have coming through. It's hard to picture a team with Dewey in it making such an impact when you've got all these, fresh, green, young people coming through, or not even that, just more experienced people that are putting up more minutes, putting up more meters, things like that. Which it makes me sad because I love Adam Dewey, man. I love his effort. I love the way that he supports his team and his teammates, and that to me speaks a volume of what it means to be a true West Tigers player, but also just a true footy fan, right? I think footy is quickly becoming too much of the business side of things and less about the actual footy side of things, right? And that to me, it kind of hurts to hear that and to see things like that. But at the end of the day, footy is a business, and people do move on, and we do have to keep some people. But who do you think is the most underrated player on our team this season?
Ooh, I think Tony Suka's done well since he's come in, but that's minimum game time. Charles Skelton's been fire for us out the backfield, and he's 20 odd hit ups and 200 something meters and tackle breaks. And
Crazy, hey?
but how do you go past Terrell May there? I mean, that guy's just given us a whole new breath of fresh air for a 75, 80-minute front row. It just allows for so much more regarding the interchange. You don't have to carry three heavy forwards necessarily. As we've done so many times this year, we've had two lighter guys on the bench. And you notice in the last 20 minutes, that's been helping us out a lot. Been sticking in the games and going right to that 80 minutes. So I'd probably say Terrell May, Joel Skelton.
Yeah. Yeah, those two are absolute units, man. Especially, I mean, Terrell's a given for sure, and just the way he consistently shows up. But having Jarrell Skelton out for those few weeks, and with Charlie Staines and Brent Naden in, you really saw that gap that we had. And then like amongst all that was all the Galvin saga, so that edge was already shaky as it was. And yeah, Jarrell Skelton being back has definitely brought a lot of calm and a lot of like foundation solidity. And I don't know. To me, Jarrell Skelton is one of those guys that I think we need to throw a decent offer at and keep him around long term. Because yeah, if we can do that, man, we're going to be unstoppable with our spine coming through next year, especially.
His defense has been incredible too. His crash plays where he's just smashing in into the centers, and it just lifts the team and fires us up.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, what do you think's been our biggest area of weakness or biggest area of growth this year? For me, like defense, like our defensive efforts has been tremendous this year. Although we're losing games, especially early on, like we were like that solid defensive brick wall, and I hadn't seen that in a while. The way that we were stopping good teams at getting through our defensive line was next to none, and then things kind of fizzled out. I'd say probably from the Melbourne Storm game, that was pretty brutal. But we're still getting back to that. What would you say is our biggest spot for growth this year?
Well, the goal line defense has been sensational. That game we just pipped the Sharks. That goal line defense in the last 15 minutes was hectic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we stopped them from winning 3 times in one set. I think where we need a bit of growth, where we're starting to find it, is the cohesion in attack and that fluidity. But obviously there was, the obvious disruption at some point, and allowing someone to play the, freestyle of football wasn't conducive to any kind of. I don't know how you prepare for that. So you just sort of playing touch football every game.
Yeah, no kidding. And then yeah, I guess we'll go off of that. Like Luai, is traditionally a 5'8". He's been put in this number 7 jersey. I think he's been doing a really good job, and I see a lot of potential in that. Do you think we keep him at number 7 and have Latu Fainu at number 6? Do you think we swap the two? Do you think we keep going with Mason and then have Latu kind of as a depth impact player for the half specifically? What do you think we should do with our half pairing?
I don't think these days you necessarily have to have a 7 and a 6. You could just have 2 5/8s, or have Appy kind of control the ruck as the dummy half. And at lock, if we've got Mason, Luai, Appy, Bula, and Fainu all on at the same time, I mean that's attacking weapons right there. So, and it's shown that Fainu has been a great defender too. I know Heath Mason struggled a little bit, but got to remember in some of those games we were down to 11 players, 12 players. So every player's missing tackles at that point.
Yeah, dude, those sin bins really friggin' did us in a few of those games, man. And I mean, there was a few of them that, we deserved, but there was a good majority of them that we didn't. I'm not going to get into it, but like, yeah, the fact that we still held our own as best we could, especially having such such a young half in at that point too. Man, you got to give huge credits to the halves there, and there's moments we lost Jerome Luai for a little bit in the sin bin, but our effort has definitely been there, and so yeah, super super pumped about that, and kind of really intrigued to see what Benji does with this half pairing, because Benji is one of the best halves in the history of the NRL, right? Especially at the West Tigers, so he knows what he's going for. And I really do see Latu Fainu being the next Benji Marshall. He has that flair. He's got that build. He's got that speed. I could definitely see him being the next Benji Marshall, quote unquote. Now, what I want to do on Fan Fridays is kind of have you guys build out your dream team, your dream 16, whatever you want to call it, with the current members we have or that we know that are coming. So you can use Talamay, you can use Kai Pierce-Paul, you could use some juniors if you have some on mind, and kind of build out what you think the perfect, roster would be for a game on a weekend.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, definitely you'd start with Bula as
Mm.
fullback. I've got a little bit of a slightly left of field team because I'd put in Isaac Tutupu on the left wing,
Okay.
and I'd move Sunia Taruva to left centre at the moment.
Mm.
And hopefully we keep Star because I'd maintain him on the right with Gerald Skelton, or vice versa. The wingers can switch sides. Then you've got Latu Fainu, Jerome Luai. The forwards, obviously, for Nuapoli and Terrell May, with Appy at hooker. The back row's got to be Samuel Fainu and Kai Pierce-Paul.
Oh, yeah.
The lock is a tricky position, but I'm going to keep Alex Twile there.
Okay.
And my bench would be Heath Mason, Seifar, Sione Fainu, and Royce Hunt. And I'd have Adam Dewey as my 18th man if you're still here.
Dang, dude. I could get behind that. I really could, especially Taruva in the center. I never really thought about that, honestly. Like, he really does have that speed. He knows how to find those gaps. He knows how to create those gaps. And defensively, too, he can hold his own. Yeah, I could get behind that big time. Sweet.
And
Well,
he has struggled slightly in one or two games on the wing as well against these really 6'6" wingers. So if we had two big wingers, that would hopefully prevent that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I really do. I could get behind that. I really do see a huge opportunity there. Well, that would be so sick if that happened. Cool, man. Well, thanks for joining. That's all I've got. Do you have anything? How you mentioned you do music. How can people find you? Do you have social media? What kind of music do you do? And yeah, whatever you want to say, ask, go for it.
At the moment, I'm recording other artists, so that's I don't have a lot of that up online. I have a YouTube channel of just when I'm mucking around in the garage and stuff. That's just Gus Harris. Um, I'm on Twitter if anyone wants to have a chat at Gus Harris Gus. And I just wanted to say to you, brother, well done for grinding this year. Like the growth's tremendous, and your dedication, and you're feeding that algorithm every day. So it's great
Appreciate
to
that.
see you growing, my man. And if I can, I'd like to shout out a couple of the other potties.
Yes,
West
go for it.
Tigers Life. Rob Bashar has gifted me a ticket tonight, so I'll be going hanging out with the boys from there. And Tiger Town. There's West Tigers podcast. Who else is there? There's a few good ones out there at the moment.
Win,
Oh, your
learn, or
mate Pies.
draw.
That's
Yep.
right. Your mate Pies and Tigers.
Yep.
He's having a
Yep.
go. Yeah, just I hope everyone keeps up the social media.
Hmm.
Gives us all something to think about, talk about during the week, and it's thriving this year. So well
That's
done to you,
awesome.
brother.
I appreciate that, man. And like I said at the start, you've been the guy that's been cheering me on from the start, and I greatly appreciate all your support. Even like not I won't say bad, but like constructive, right? There's things, especially earlier on, that I was just learning, and you're like, "Hey, man, try this. That wasn't right." Blah blah blah. And that to me, that helps a lot. And so, yeah, I'm just so glad to have people like you on this community. And like, yeah, I love doing this because I'm passionate about Tigers, but I'm more passionate about connecting with fellow West Tigers believers. So yeah, I love all the potties that you listed. I listen to them all. I'm actually in chats with some of them now to try and link up and do something, maybe
Yeah, do
cover a
that.
game and stuff. Because yeah, I think the West Tigers. They need people like you and I, people that believe and like to make that vocal. I think for too long we've been the butt of the joke in the NRL. I'm kind of over it, you know. So it's cool to have something that's not Fox Sports, covering the West Tigers and just independent people, real people with real emotions. So yeah, man, appreciate all your support on this channel, and I hope you enjoyed tonight. That sounds sick. I'm so stoked you get to go and hang out with the fellas.
It's going to be tops, mate. Thank you very much for having me, Geordie.
Of course, anytime. You take it easy, mate.
You too, brother.
See ya. And that's a wrap, folks. How are we feeling? What were some of your key takeaways? I just love chatting to Gus. He's been a long-time supporter of this channel. If you want to be part of Fan Friday, make sure that you let me know in the comments below. Flick me a DM on Instagram, or you can send me an email at nrldeepdive@gmail.com, and we can get a time and date set up for that. I just love chatting with you guys. You're the reason I jump on here every single day, and it just means the world to me to have a community that's rallying around our boys that we all love and call the West Tigers. So make sure you like, subscribe, leave a review, share it with a friend who loves the Tigers as much as we do, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next episode.